Hey guys, we are here with our newest franchise mode in Eastside Hockey Manager, and that would be with MODO Allsvenskan. That is right. We are going over to Europe for a little bit. We just finished up with the Kingston Frontenacs, and we're definitely up against a new challenge here, because there are a few different things about Europe. First of all, there's no salary cap. All we have is a player budget and a bounce. That's it. And obviously salaries and transfer funds, stuff like that. But there's no salary cap. There's no limit to the amount that we can spend other than our budget. So as long as it's within our budget, we can sign a specific player. And as long as they want to come over to our team, again, we can sign them. Another thing we have to worry about is promotion and relegation. Because if you take a look at the league standings, I believe the top two up here get promoted. And I believe the bottom two get relegated, because we are sort of in the middle. We're in the middle of the third league and the SHL. So whoever obviously is in the bottom two gets relegated, and then the top two gets promoted to the SHL. So that'll be very interesting. We'll probably end up seeing some new teams year after year. And to my understanding, there are roughly 50 games per season. I believe it's actually 52. As we go through the schedule here, we only play up until February. And then after that, I would presume is the playoffs. I haven't gone through a full season of this yet. I wanted to be surprised in my first full playthrough of a European team. The point is, it's much different than what we're used to in the NHL or even in North America in general. So first things first, we are going to take a look at our roster. So for goaltenders, we have Eric Hansis, and by the way, names will be butchered in this series. There's no doubt about it. Most of these guys are from Europe, if not all of them, and there's probably going to be some team names that are butchered as well. So I'm just letting you Europeans and you Swedes know that there will be butchered names in this series all the time. I mean, of course, you guys can help me out in the comments. Yeah, especially for this first episode, there will be butchered names. So continuing with goaltenders, we have Linus Lundin and Oliver Dackel. So Hansies and Lundin are definitely going to be our starting pair. And defensively, you have Tobias Enstrom with Oscar Hedman, Tom Hedberg, Anton Allman, Tommy Enstrom, Matthias Norlinder, and Victor Berglund. Now, we'll take an in-depth look at these guys later, but we're just going to run through it for right now because there are a few players that I want to sign right out of the gate. Henrik Bjorklund, Jonathan Johnson, so one of the few names that I can actually pronounce because it looks like it's a North American name, but he's actually from Sweden. Patrick Karlqvist, Kim Rosdahl, Daniel Sowander, Fredrik Olofsson, Matthias From, Joachim Hagelin, Magnus Hagstrom, Kalle Jelvert, Lucas Wernblom, Anton Karlstrom, and Tobias Ostrom. So yeah, again, probably butchered like half of those at least. And the players that we have dressed currently are players who will be in our lineup day one. And as for everyone else, I'm just not sure about them. I mean, we'll see what happens, I suppose, because we're just going to see how this team plays out, because for the most part, we don't know much about any of these guys. We're going to see how they simulate. But once again, there are a couple of players who I want to sign right out of the gate. But before we do that, we are going to fire every single one of our staff below us. That includes our head coach, our assistant coaches, our head scout, our regular scout. All of these guys are getting fired because they're just not up to par to what I want to have here in this organization. So first, we're going to look for our assistant GM, and his name is Frederick Jacks. So we're obviously going to have to go to non-players here. There he is. He has 71 for judging player ability and 74 player potential. That's generally what you're looking for in an assistant GM, because he's the one who generates the team report. And he's 47 years of age. I wanted someone who was a good age to be able to stick around for a while. And he's also Swedish, so that was important for me, obviously. So we're going to go ahead and try to sign him, and it appears we don't have a whole ton of money to offer him. So this is about as much as we can give him, so we're going to offer that to him. Hopefully he accepts. If not, then we might have to be running on our own here for a little bit without an assistant GM, but that is okay. Next up, we have coaches. So our first assistant coach that we're going to be going after is Eric Lawson. He is really good with tactical knowledge and with conditioning. So his conditioning attributes, level of discipline, motivating, both up there in the 80s. Tactical knowledge is at an 82 as well. So he is going to be our tactical and conditioning assistant coach. So hopefully, we can't even. All right, well, hopefully he signs. I didn't even think about how much money we would have to offer these guys. I just wrote down whoever looked good. That could be a problem with the amount of money that we have available to offer these guys. But we'll try for it anyway. Next up, Nizay Lendane. He is a goalie coach, and he's got a pretty solid mental category when it comes to working with youngsters, man management, determination. All those are in the green. So, and that's better than the majority of the coaches that are currently out there. So we're going to offer him an assistant coach job, and he wants $72,000. That's around what we can offer him, so we'll just give him that. Not that we could have given him any more. And as for the head coach, just given that we haven't been able to offer our assistant coaches more than $23,000, I don't think we're going to be able to offer this guy, and literally guy, too much more money, or even the amount of money that he wants. But we're going to try to get Guy Boucher on with us. And again, I'm not expecting him to sign just because of the amount of money that he'll probably want. Yeah, we can't even offer anything close. He's probably going to snub us. He's definitely going to snub us, but we'll try anyway. So definitely did not take all that into account, so we might have to find some new candidates for coaches, presuming all our guys don't sign, and I'm guessing at least 2 out of the 3 of them don't. Boucher definitely won't, but I figured there's no harm in trying. So Billy Nielsen, he has a 99 for physiotherapy. I want him on board with our physio staff. We'll give him that. And Alexei Shala, also a 99 for physical therapy, 43 years of age, also Swedish. So we're going to get him on board as well. Now, there are a few scouts that I want to sign, and one of them is Boris Chagas. He has a 92 for judging player ability and a 76 for player potential. So we'll get him on board. We'll also be signing Ruslan Shabanov. He has a 90 for player ability and an 84 for player potential. Hopefully we can afford him. I doubt we'll be able to, but we're just going to try our luck here, I suppose. Next up, we have Bob Crocker, who has an 86 for player potential. That is why we're getting him on board. And also, looks like he wants a pretty cheap contract, but this is about all we can offer him. All right, so the staff is a bit of a disaster considering the amount of money that most of them want. But here, we're going to get some players. And for me, players, I want to have at least a 50 anticipation. And for work rate, I want to have at least a 65. And for determination, at least a 65 as well. So if we sort through all that, we're down to all these players, about 5 pages worth of players. And one of them that we're hopefully going to be getting is Chris Summers. Now, he's not obviously from Sweden or even from Europe. He's American, but he is a much-needed defensive presence on the blue line, and he's willing to sign with us. That's the most important thing, and we can afford him. So we'll give him a $170,000 deal, and he has a relegation clause. That is fine with me. I don't think we'll need that relegation clause because it is our intention to move up to the SHL after this season. Next, we have Tommy Sikos. I'm presuming that the T in his last name is silent. He is obviously not European, but he's got some pretty solid attributes to him. Off the puck of 60. Everything else, offensively anyway, is in the orange. Then he's got that 85 determination, 77 work rate. I really like that. Physical category is somewhat decent, so we're going to try to get him on board. He, of course, also wants to be a key player, and we'll get him for $220,000 for 1 year. And the next 2 players that we're getting, they're actually younger than 18 years of age. So we're going to filter out with the age as well. And we're left with 3 players. Erik Olsson, Jesper Mellqvist, and Jacob Winqvist. Now, I want Erik Olsson and Jacob Winqvist. As we take a look at Olsson, he is only 14 years of age. That's right. We can sign 14-year-olds. And they can even play in the men's league. So, I mean, if they're ready, then they can play. That's the fun thing about being a European team, is that you can play kids in a men's league, apparently. So, hitting, he's got a 66 for that already. As a 14-year-old, he's already 6'4". I mean, my goodness. Work rate is at 99. Determination is at 94. Anticipation at 66. This kid should end up being fantastic. So we're going to give him $70,000 per year. Imagine getting $70,000 per year as a 14-year-old. That is insanity. And Jacob Winqvist, also 14 years old, 6'1", 66 on faceoffs, 81 for deflections already, 81 for work rate, 89 determination, 66 anticipation. This kid should also be pretty solid. So we're going to sign him as well to a $70,000 deal per year for 2 years. Yeah, sure, for an offer release clause. That's obviously important for younger players in case they go to North America to extend their hockey careers potentially into the NHL. And those are all the players that we're going to be going after, and those are all the staff, really, because we can't really afford too many of them. So we're going to simulate ahead a little bit, and we'll see who we got. Okay, so we were rejected by essentially every scout, and there's only one more scout that we approached that hasn't even made up his mind yet, and that's Chagas. And also Frederick Jacks has yet to make up his decision about being our assistant GM. So I went after a couple of other scouts, Jimmy Blix and Simon Frickland. So hopefully they both signed because we had enough money to sign both of them. We also got both of the physio guys out of free agency, Billy Nilsson and Alexei Shala. We got both of them. And we also got Nizey Landane as our assistant coach for goaltenders. And then Bjorn Hallqvist, unfortunately, we have not been able to fire him yet. I want to replace him because he's just not a good coach in general with his current ratings. And I've been looking around, but there's really not much. We're going to try to go after Tommy Sodin here. He's 54 years of age. He has some pretty good ratings for coaching defensemen, player ability, tactical knowledge, working with youngsters, man motivating, man management, adaptability. And even he would be too much money, but we'll see what he says anyway. He's probably going to reject us. But we could still give him a signing bonus. We gave him the maximum signing bonus. Let's see what happens. And actually, we can't see what happens yet because we have a game to play today against Kristianstad's IK. And again, forgive me if I'm butchering anything, which I likely am. So here are our lineups going into this game. We have 8 defensemen. That's another thing different from this league than the NHL. We can have 8 defensemen dressed, as well as the standard 12 forwards. And we have Winqvist, the guy who we just signed, that 14-year-old on the first line. That's what the assistant coach did. So I'll trust the assistant coach for right now that he's ready to play on the first line in the Allsvenskan because he's only 14. We have to really take our time with this kid and make sure he develops properly. And Erik Olsson as well, 14 years of age. He is on the second defensive pair. So, coach already trusting in these guys pretty heavily for being only 14 years of age. So that's certainly something to keep an eye on. And we're going to go with this lineup into the preseason game against Kristianstad. Here we go. First period, and that will be a goal for Kristianstad. Second period, Bjorklund with the goal. Johnson and Hagelin. Third period, and that will be a 3-1 win for MODO. Well, we didn't get Chagas either. He's going to Russia. And now we have a preseason game against AIK, the other team that we might have used in this series, but you guys voted for MODO. I believe 65% of the votes were for MODO, actually. So I thought it would honestly be closer than it was, but MODO kind of took over in the polls. So first period, And that'll be 2 goals, 1 for each team. Wasberg for AIK and Winquist for MODO. My goodness. Second period, and that'll be 2 goals for us and 1 goal for them. One by Illested. I shouldn't even really try to pronounce these names. Frederick Olofsson with 2 goals, and Winquist with a secondary assist. Third period, that'll be a tie game. We're going to overtime, and we're now going to a shootout. And we will win in the shootout with goals by Toby Enstrom and Patrick Karlquist. And we got Simon Frickland to join our scouting staff. Now a preseason game against Vastervik. Again, forgive me for butchering these team names and player names. First period, that'll be a goal for Karlquist. Second period, and that'll be a 4-2 lead for them. We get a goal by Yelvert, and an assist for Olsen. But we're not in a good position right now. Third period, Winquist with the goal as well. And Olsen with another assist, but we lose this one 6-4. Well, we didn't get Shodin, the guy who we wanted for our head coach, so we're just going to have to kind of roll with our current head coach. But we did get Jimmy Blix, the other scout that we went after. Now another preseason game versus Kristianstad. We'll not view this one. We're just going to sim quickly. And we win 4-0. Goals by Olofsson, Yelver, Olofsson again, and Yelver with an assist from Winquist. And another game against AIK, we win 5-2. Goals by Olofsson, Winquist, Hagström, Björklund, and Rosdahl. Yeah, Jacob Winquist so far is, as a 14-year-old, is second on our team in the preseason with 5 points. And he also has a 780 average rating. Pretty impressive for his 14-year-old in a men's league. And we have a couple more preseason games here. One against, Söder Talia. I hope that was close. All right, let's see. First period, that'll be a goal for Hagelin. Second period, that'll be a hat trick for their Nick Olesen and Winquist with another goal. Third period, and that will be a 4-2 win for them. And one final preseason game here against, Vita Hasten. Jeez, alright. Anyway, going into it here. First period, we have a goal by Jonathan Johnson. At least that name's easy to say for me. Second period, there you go. Björklund, Wernblom, and Summers. Third period, and we have a 5-3 win with another goal by Björklund into the empty net. So now as we take a look at selection for goaltenders, Eric Hanses has a 740 average rating with a 905 save percentage in 5 games. Definitely got to be our go-to guy during the regular season. Linus Lundin with a 7 average rating and an 877 in 3 games played. Defensively, we have Tobias Enstrom with a 729, Chris Summers with a 714, Tom Hedberg with a 7, Tommy Enstrom with a 686, same thing for Oscar Hedman, 671 for both Victor Berglund and Matthias Norlinder, and then a 657 for Eric Olsen, unfortunately. But he is, after all, only 14 years of age, so we're going to have to bring him along gradually so that he can become that kind of defenseman who can just dominate. And he also had 2 assists, so he didn't do too bad, just needs to improve defensively a little bit, obviously. And forward-wise, you have Henrik Björklund and Fredrik Olofsson with a 786. Patrick Karlquist has a 771. Jonathan Johnson and Jacob Winquist, the 14-year-old, have a 757. And Kim Rosdahl has a 743. Joachim Hagelin has a 729. Wernblom has a 714. Yelvert has a 7 flat. Hagström has a 671. Sikos has a 657. And Solander has a 629. And for the most points, Johnson had 8. Olofsson had 8. Björklund and Winquist had 6. Karlquist had 5. So there's a lot to like here so far with this MODO Hockey Club. Obviously, wish we could have gotten some better coaches and scouts, but we're working with what we have right now, and I think it should end up being a pretty successful year for MODO, and hopefully we can get up to that top 2 where we can make our way up to the SHL. So that'll be about it for this one. I want to keep this one short since it is, after all, the introduction video. Let me know on anything and everything about this because I'm obviously not European. I am in the good old US of A. And Once again, this is, for the most part, a blind run through. I have never, before this, played a full season in any league outside of North America in Eastside Hockey Manager. So let me know what we should do really throughout this entire GM mode. I'm going to need you guys' help a lot with this one. So I'll leave you guys off here and let me know what you guys think of your new and improved MODO roster. And I'll see you guys in the next one.